Hello, this is Desmond Butts, and I'm working on a machining project. I'm going to make a all aluminum machined holder for this insert of this pen for one of these G2 refills. And I'm going to show you kind of step by step how you do it. I already have a little bit of it done, meaning that I just pre-drilled a hole the diameter of the tip of this, which happens to be 2.5 millimeter. And I started with that. It's in the headstock with a dead center to help, and I'm going to start machining that down. And it's going to be in 3 pieces. So I'll kind of describe that here, and we'll go over to the lathe. We're over here at our MicroLux 7x16 mini lathe, and this is what we're going to use to make our machined aluminum pen housing. So here I've got the mini lathe set up. Got the quick release holder here. It's in the chuck. We got our ball bearing end center there to help hold it. So I'm going to get that video in there a little bit closer. I did measure this from where I'm going to take the initial pass by my fingertip down here to here is exactly 6 inches. So we're going to start 6 inches. We're going to turn this down to a smaller diameter. And this is going to be the body that holds the actual gel pen. And we're going to be drilling the core of this out to make sure it fits properly. It's already been pre-drilled on this side to 2.5 millimeters, about that far along. Then we're going to drill from this side in to meet it. And there's several different steps of drill bits that we're going to use to make sure it fits in nice. It's going to be cut approximately in this area. And this last piece here is going to be an end cap that threads over it. And then what's in the gator chuck here is going to actually be machined down to be the cap. So we'll kind of show you how this is going to go. Just to give you a little bit of an idea, I do have a stop here so that this isn't going to keep on going into the head of the jaw. So that's a good little add-on that I did. It's about 25 bucks, bought it online. Works out really well. Well, already we ran into one little snag, and that is that I can't center it with this dead center over here on the back side on that length of 6 inches, which I'd love to do because it's going to maybe cause some chatter if I'm not careful. So I have to take smaller, slower passes. But I can't do it because the cross slide and everything interferes with this and it won't go all the way back to it using this setup. So I may try something else and we'll see if it's going to work or not. Okay, I think I solved the problem of getting this to go in and have clearance. Move the tool, the cutter, out a little bit, and I extended this out so that there's clearance down here for the cross slide to make it in there and stabilize the piece of work. So here we go. Okay, so this is going to be the main body of the pen. There's a hole where the tip's going to come out. I got to face cut that right there, and we'll drill the holes in it. Then I got to do some threading, some tapering, and some other things and angling on this piece. This section here that is left is going to be part of the cap that holds the pen part in place, and then the lid is going to be this piece that's in the chuck. So what I'm doing right here is I'm cutting the very fine tip hole first where the actual pen is going to come out. Then I'm going to bore it from the back side, a larger diameter, to go into this point so that the cavity of the gel insert will fit properly. Okay, I've been machining this down pretty good. We've got a very shallow angle right here. It's going to be the tip. Measured right, drilled out from the other side, and that's where the machine is going to go. It's right along there. I'm going to thread it. Show you that a little bit later. Okay, here's my pen so far. The holes are drilled, multiple sizes. Drilled the small hole first from this end right here. Drilled it in this far so I could drill the large one in and meet it, and then use a reamer inside to get it the right depth so the end comes out. The reason why that little bit of a nub is sticking out is I'm going to thread this right here, put a cap on it, and that'll put a tiny bit of pressure on that to hold the pen in place. And as you can tell, it fits just right because the tip is just out of the end of it. So I can push it in. Tip comes out right there under pressure. Got a nice little taper in. Might even bring this back just a little bit further. Not quite sure yet. We're just going to see how this works out. But so far, that's the start of it. Okay, here I am, back at the drawing board. Got one started and kind of drilled it out a little bit too thin, and the tip broke off. But here's my second try right here. So the second try looks pretty good. This is for the cap that's going to go on here. And there's a little bit for the back end cap that holds the pen insert in. So I'll show you. And the back cap's going to go over here. The pen insert, gel pen goes in like that. Cap's going to hold that in. There's the tip, and it writes. Pretty cool. Got a little ding on it, but we're going to powder coat it so we can take care of that. So these are metric threads. Going to be, they were tapped M12 1.5 thread pitch. And here's the tap that I'm going to do the lid on this end. And the end cap ran out of aluminum, so we're going to make the end cap out of this brass rod. And I'll drill a 10.5 millimeter hole, probably 10 millimeter, and then bore it to 10.5, and then run the tap through the back there to make the little cap, and then machine it down, mill it down. Then I have a piece of aluminum in the chuck right now. I'm going to start working on this piece right here on the front piece. And I'm going to start drilling that and see if we can get this done. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go over the dimensions of this on the end. They're written down on the piece of paper, but to give you a little bit of an idea, I'm going to go from the bottom up. The overall finished product end to end is 120 millimeters finished. The base cap out of brass is 16.25 millimeters long. It is 14.5 millimeters thick, or around, and the hole is 10.5 millimeters, and then it's thread tapped. The lid is 52.5 millimeters long by 14.5 millimeters thick around, with a 10.5 millimeter hole that is also thread tapped. Now the lid has a little decorative end on it that I did with actually a ball rounding attachment on it to get that little kind of a dimple on it. The actual pen itself is 105 millimeters long, 9.75 millimeters thick or around between the two sections of thread. The threads themselves started at 10.5 millimeters and then were tapped on both ends.
The bore is 6 millimeters by 88 millimeters deep, and the tip of the bore, where the pen tip comes out, is 2.5 millimeters. The overall length of the entire pen section is 55 millimeters long between the threads, in between the threads. Okay? That's it. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and share with others.